Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Workers' Party, welcome to Democracy 4. That's right, we're back, and we're back with a brand new theme. This time, we are hopefully going to try and turn Britain into the People's Socialist Republic of the United Kingdom. That's the mission. I don't know what achievements we're going to hit over the course of this run. Maybe Viva la Revolution. Maybe that might work. Top marks as well. Either way, we're going to try and convert as many of the people in the population to the socialist voter group as possible, and we are also trying to implement as many policies as we possibly can that hopefully increase socialist opinion of us, of the leadership. Okay, so let's go for the potato socialist Workers' Party, something like that. You know, that sounds vaguely acceptable. Okay, so what are we going to be doing differently over the course of this run in comparison to the run that we did last time? Well, you know, this time we're going to have a very focused series of missions that we need to execute. First of all, where's the socialists? Okay, down here. So, round about 50% of the population. Starts as a socialist. Now, our first mission, and probably the most important mission here, is to try and increase the membership of this voter group. And there's a whole bunch of ways that we're going to try and do that. However, the reason that we need to increase the size of the voter group is that nobody can be unhappy with me if they're not socialist. I.e., I hope to appease the socialists so much that if you're not a socialist, you kind of don't matter, if that makes sense. So, you know, all of these red negative modifiers, which currently have a negative effect on membership, we are obviously going to try and decrease them as much as we possibly can. We're also going to make sure that we get as many sympathetic ministers as possible into government roles. So anyone who is a socialist is going to be considered for the job. So yeah. Very cool indeed. Now, there are obviously a whole bunch of policies which I'm hoping I'm going to be able to implement. Like, for example, the state energy company, the state telecoms company, all of that sort of stuff is definitely stuff that I'm interested in. I'm also going to be, I want to say, sort of thematically playing in a way that perhaps a socialist would play, i.e., we're not going to worry about paying down the debt. I mean, in an ideal world, we're able to balance the budget. You know, that's definitely something that I do want to try and do. However, we're not really going to worry about that altogether too much. For example, in the issue of automated trading, we're going to have a total ban on automated trading. That's for certain. The other one that immediately sticks out to me, labor laws. You know, we are going to be 100% pro-union. Like, all of this sort of stuff is going to get implemented, I hope, over the course of this run. We need to do it in such a way that we don't end up getting, you know, completely decimated, though. You know, firstly, you know, on a popularity level, and again, the way that we're going to counter our decrease in popularity from every other voter group is by trying to convert as many of those other voters to socialists as possible. Also, I'm thinking that maybe on this occasion, we're going to see if we can try and boost up our intelligence spending as much as possible, as I do suspect that there will be a lot of filthy capitalist attempts to take me out, for want of a better phrase. So that's definitely something that we're going to... Federation of Entrepreneurs, what is it? Is it the... It was the Battenberg group in Democracy 3. What is it? The Invisible Hand. I'm pretty sure that it's the Invisible Hand now that capitalists turn to. Yeah, the Invisible Hand. So we got to be very careful about that. Speaking of, we want to try and decrease the capitalist membership as quickly as we possibly can. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff to be doing. I'm actually rather uneasy about how challenging this is going to be. This is going to be a real test. This is going to be a real test. And part of my hesitation is like, where the heck do we start? I mean, where do we start? What is the most important policy to start with? I feel like it might be nationalizing. Something. So the state water company, it's maybe that's it. The state water company, or the state electricity company. The state energy company. The state telecoms company has got broader appeal. Quantitative easing. I mean, quantitative easing, we know, is just a way that we can, like, completely unlock GDP, which is really, really nice. Which is really, really nice. But I also don't know if it's entirely popular with the socialists. Same with helicopter money. Let's see if we can try and implement helicopter money. Let's do it. Okay, so helicopter money is actually unbelievably popular with socialists. Okay, you know what? Inflation going through the roof. That actually sounds not too terrible. I think that, you know, we can tolerate that in the meantime. Quantitative easing, I'm not entirely sure has got as many upsides. However, helicopter money seems to be something that we're very, 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 very interested in doing. Yeah, telecoms industry at the moment is negatively impacting socialist membership. So let's at least make sure that each and every turn we try and give ourselves a policy which will positively impact socialist membership. Right, selective schooling. I mean, no, we don't want that. We don't want that at all. So that will actually increase membership just a little bit, but to be honest, I don't really think that it's going to have as much of an uptick as I really want it to have. We want something that really affects the membership. Now, water industry, telecoms industry, we can get rid of this negative modifier if we nationalize the industry, which we will definitely do. Have no fear. We're going to be getting every industry. Every industry is going to be nationalized. Absolutely. Guarantee it. Rail industry is going to be nationalized. Schools are already nationalized. Private pensions. We're just going to increase our funding to schools, pensions, housing, healthcare, etc. And that'll get rid of this negative modifier over here. Labor laws. I mean, we can tweak labor laws a little bit. But I feel like if we're going to do it, we might as well do it in like one fell swoop. You know? Although that will cost us 32 political capital. That is rather insane. Maybe we should just do it in bits. You know what? Let's do it in bits. Let's do it in bits. Okay, so 8 political capital in that. Not the end of the world. Now, I've not really focused on taking charge of any of these problems over here. So alcohol consumption and increasing the alcohol tax is probably something that we want to max out as increasing the alcohol. This is not even alcohol tax. It's alcohol law. I'm looking, yeah, alcohol tax. Yeah, so the alcohol tax and the alcohol law actually don't directly affect socialists. It affects poverty and it affects poor earnings, or poor opinion, should I say. Both of which it would seem to be a sort of baseline socialist interest, although that doesn't really seem to be the case. Either way, we're gonna jack up the alcohol tax as much as we possibly can. Getting alcohol consumption down to an absolute minimum is a priority, again, because we've got that 2.39 billion locked away. So very, very important that we get that sorted. Respiratory disease, obesity, hospital overcrowding. I mean, none of this, I don't think, affects socialists directly. So again, there's no real need to sort it out immediately. Yet that doesn't even affect socialists directly. That doesn't affect socialists directly. This doesn't affect socialists directly. So yeah, we don't need to worry about it on that front too much, but that's fine. Okay, credit rating is downgraded. This is kind of what I was worried about. Current credit rating is now CCC. This could be somewhat of a problem. This could definitely be a bit of a problem. Our GDP did end up increasing. It did end up increasing. Are we running we're now running an absolutely massive deficit. We are now running an absolutely massive deficit. The reason that we're running an absolutely massive deficit, I presume, is because of our debt interest. I mean, that rate of interest is absolutely obscene. Like, that is huge. Even with that increase in GDP, it wasn't able to make up for the fact that we now are paying a significant amount in debt interest. Okay, so we're not going to cut expenditure. That is absolutely off the table. That is not going to happen. But one of the things that we can introduce, or we can increase, is taxes. We can increase taxes. And you know what? We are going to increase taxes all the way up to as much as we can pretty much go. Yeah. We gotta do it. Okay, socialist opinion, again, that's really, really good. I am gonna waste a lot of political capital getting on top of this this deficit situation, which I'm very unhappy about, I would hasten to add. This is not good that we have to do this. Maternity leave, can we Can we pop maternity leave up a little bit? It's going to decrease productivity. Okay, it's not really going to net us any massive increases. Work safety law. Now, this seems like something that we can deal with. Maximum work safety law. Sure. It costs me 1 political capital to do. An absolute bargain, if indeed I do say so myself. What about the clean energy subsidies? I mean, it costs me 1 political capital, which seems very, very cheap. But it doesn't really net me any positives, to be honest. Okay, capitalist opinion. Capitalist opinion is holding roughly steady. The income tax increase is going to really, really hurt. But hopefully the growth of GDP is going to offset that that negative little impact there. Pollution controls, again, pretty pointless. Doesn't really affect anything. I'm just having a little look at what we can really change here. It doesn't seem like there's much that we can change. Not for 1 political capital, anyway. Community policing. I mean, look, community policing, I've talked about it at length, is a great policy. One of the best policies in the entirety of the game. However, what do we got? Race Discrimination Act. Again, that doesn't really make a difference. We need to focus. We need to focus on the immediate problems, and we need to focus, you know, what can we do to improve socialist opinion. This doesn't really make a difference. Doesn't really make a difference either. Disability benefit, it increases equality a little bit, which is kind of what we want, but again, doesn't really impact directly socialist opinion, which is unfortunate. Foreign investor tax breaks. Oh, that's a kicker. I mean, look, I'd love to reduce this, to be honest. I'd love to reduce this. However, it would save us a couple of billion, but it would see a decrease in GDP, which I really don't want to see at this moment in time. So yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that for now. Family planning. Honestly, we can probably max that out. I mean, for an extra couple of 100 billion, health and education all increased. Yeah, you know what? Sure, let's do it. That sounds fairly reasonable. Okay, our debt has increased like marginally. However, already we've been thrown into the deep end with regards to interest rates, which is really irritating. But that's okay. We're getting on top of the situation by, you know, just taxing everyone like a heck of a lot more. Okay, this is bad. This is very bad. This is a bad turn. Okay, GDP, little bit of an issue there. Doctors strike. Wowzers, that is a massive downtick in health. That is awful. That's going to feed into productivity very negatively. I'm not excited about that. I don't want to see the act of I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. Internet crime, I'm not worried about internet crime. That's okay. How are we doing? We're running a deficit, but we're actually only running a deficit of 1.24 billion per quarter. Now, we are about to see massive levels of tax evasion, I would wager. Either that or brain drain. Whatever the case, we've got to expect something. But we're not out of the woods yet. We need to get our deficit down just a smidgen more. Because if we end up going into a debt spiral, then we're screwed. We are frankly screwed. It's literally just that simple. So how did this end up happening? How did the doctor strike end up happening? So wages increased and the doctors ended up striking? Is that what happened here? It's because unemployment is so high that the doctors feel like they can go on strike? I don't get that. I don't get that. Or the unemployment level is taking away from the doctor strike, but the fact that wages are so low is feeding into it. I mean, what if I was to crank up minimum wages? Capitalists would really despise that. Socialists would love it. The uncompetitive economy would be turbocharged. Do we just want to face the facts that the uncompetitive economy modifier is going to be around forever? I think we probably do. Petrol tax. I mean, petrol tax could be increased, but it would cost 11 political capital. That's very expensive for what we're actually getting. Payroll tax. Honestly, increasing the payroll tax by a little bit is probably what we're after. This impacts socialist opinion in a positive way, and it doesn't actually anger too many people, to be honest. We're gonna do it. I'm not happy about this. I am actually gonna increase it to max purely because two reasons actually. It costs reasonably little political capital to do this. It's going to cost me 10 political capital to max it out. And also, this opens the floodgates, really. This is going to allow me to spend a heck of a lot of money. So even if our economy starts to crumble, I'm hoping that we will at least have enough of a surplus to spend our money on all of the vanity projects that we want to spend our money on, such as nationalizing a whole bunch of industries. Speaking of nationalizing a whole bunch of industries, can we nationalize any industries at this moment in time? I don't think so. I think not. I think not. But that's okay. That is totally fine. What's our max political capital? It's 36. That's good. Okay, alcohol abuse is going down. That's very, very good. Alcohol consumption should start to fall because of the alcohol tax increase. I think maybe we want to bump up the alcohol tax just a little bit more from here. It's only going to get me another, whatever, $500 million or so, but it will decrease poverty just a little bit, but we should be fine. Organized crime and crime just in general. Honestly, why did it drop so large? Why did it drop so largely? So muchly? Why did it drop so much? Is it because poverty fell? It's because poverty fell. Because we did helicopter money, of course. Just like that. Just that simple. Yeah. Okay. Right. What else can we bump up? Art subsidies? I mean, that sounds like not something that we should worry about at this moment in time. I need to focus my mind. I need to focus my mind on what actually matters here, you know? State employees. State employee membership is not terrible. Electron microscopes. Look, I don't think we want to spend any. I don't think we want to spend any political capital on this. Not at this moment in time, anyway. Minimum wage we can definitely crank up, but again, it's not gonna directly impact anything that either makes us money or loses us money. Wages we do want to see. We do want to see if we can try and push up wages as much as possible, because that sounds like something that a socialist government should do. You know what? Let's just get rid of foreign investor tax breaks. I'd love to cancel this policy, but unfortunately I can't with the low level of political capital that I have at this moment in time. We've got a decision to make. I'm actually going to allow fracking. I'm going to allow fracking. The reason that I'm going to allow fracking is that I knew it wasn't going to impact socialist opinion of us, and it'll actually improve capitalist opinion and GDP and oil supply at the expense of the environmentalists' opinion. So we can sustain that. We can sustain that for a little bit. Capitalist opinion decreasing is not something that we can sustain. Capitalist membership, by the way, unfortunately, very, very high. Unemployment benefit. Now, this is something that we can definitely change. Yeah, for sure. We can definitely change that. However, capitalist membership is what I'm looking for. Strength. Telecoms industry. Okay, so the telecoms industry is one of the major reasons why we have so many capitalists. Telecoms and then energy. Okay, that is a roadmap for industries that we want to nationalize in the first instance. Okay, multinational headquarters. Amazing. That event happened. That is brilliant. GDP actually increased just a little bit. Not enough to get noticed, but that's fine. Unemployment started to fall mostly because of the headquarters thing. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of activity here. A lot of activity. I'm really worried about the Federation of Entrepreneurs. The Rural Alliance, apparently, are more dangerous at this moment in time. But thankfully, none of the deadly groups have started to coalesce into something quite yet. Okay, we're still running a surplus, which is great. Very, very good indeed. We need to grow our GDP. We need to make sure that we retain a high level of income. Is there a chance of a situation developing? It doesn't look like there is at this moment in time, which is good. Very, very happy with that. Hopefully that doesn't change. We don't want tax evasion to happen. We don't want any of that nonsense. We do not want any of that nonsense. I don't need to worry about the executive term length. That's not something that we need to worry about at this moment in time. Same with the executive term limit. That's also not a problem. Doctors' strike, that's still an issue. Organized crime, that's still going to be an issue. Yeah, okay. Well, you know what? I think it's time that we nationalize our first industry. I want to make sure that we do it fairly early on. 45% popularity. In fact, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Has our socialist... Before I implement this, has our socialist... has membership of the socialist group increased a little bit? It's not increased. Their happiness has increased. pretty tremendously, actually, which is quite nice. All right, let's go for it. State telecoms is what the first policy is going to be. It's going to cost us between 0 and 3.67 billion. Introduction cost 11 political capital. All right, cost to nationalize. Oh boy. All right, 81 billion. Well, we're going to do it. We're going to do it, of course. Right, telecoms industry is going to be decimated. Trade unionists going to love it. Trade unionist membership going to be increased. Unemployment going to be decreased a lot. Poverty is going to be decreased. Socialism membership is going to increase. State employees also going to increase. Internet speed is going to increase dramatically. Okay? Capitalist opinion and, of course, the telecoms industry both going to be decimated. It's also going to cost us rather a lot, but that's fine. Also, don't forget that it did cost us 81 billion pounds. And 81 billion pounds at an interest rate of whatever the heck we're paying at the moment, 7.61%. I mean, look, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot. That is, yeah, that's really quite something, actually. That is really, really, really quite something. I don't suppose we'll be able to introduce the next thing. What was it called? The capitalist. Here we go. Telecoms industry. We've sorted that out. That's going to disappear. Energy industry. Is there a chance? Is there a chance that we can nationalize the energy industry on this turn? A double whammy. State energy company? Oh boy, okay. Potential income between 2.34 and 0. Right. It's gonna go, okay. 120 billion pounds spent over the course of one turn. That's a lot. Okay. Right, let's just fund it to the max, right? Let's fund it to the absolute max. Let's fund it to the max, dude. Let's just do this. Okay, unemployment is going to decrease. Poverty is going to decrease a lot. Socialist membership increasing very, very rapidly, in fact. State employee membership also increasing fairly rapidly. Now, we are funding this to the max. We don't have to technically fund it to the max. You know, we can leave it at 0, and we can actually make it pay for itself, which is kind of nice. However, the government is going to subsidize energy production. And we're going to do it to the tune of 12.19 billion a quarter. Is that going to pretty much wipe out our entire surplus? You bet your bottom dollar it's going to almost wipe out our entire surplus. Oh boy, love to see it. Love to see it. How is everyone doing? How my cabinet feeling about my pretty spectacular departure from normality? You're not happy about it. Of course you're not, because you're capitalist. You're a capitalist sympathizer as well. Liberals. What do liberals think of me? Liberals actually fairly like me. Yeah, so that's good. That's good. That's at least something, right? Threat assessment, we're going to be checking this much more regularly going forward. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, are we heck. It's going to be very, very curious indeed. Okay, this is exceptional. Poverty is down by a large amount because we're employing so many people in our energy company and our state telecoms company, so that's quite exciting. Crime decreased a little bit. I don't really know what I've done to... fix this out, fix this up even. I think it's poverty. I think it's the decrease in poverty that is pretty much contributing to this decrease in crime. Which is pretty nice, actually. It's pretty nice. That's going to hopefully grow our GDP, increase tourism, all of that nonsense. It's all good. It's all good stuff. Don't get me wrong. Massive fall in unemployment. That is really very, very large, which is great. Toxic waste dump. Prevent construction or allow the construction of a toxic waste dump. I'm going to allow the dump. Okay, environmentalists predictably didn't like it. Again, environmentalists are easy to appease in the grand scheme of things. I was just hoping that impacted capitalists. It didn't, unfortunately. Anyway, GDP fluctuating around a little bit. The problem with not having a super strong economy in this game, right, is that the success of my economy is entirely dependent on how the global economy is doing. So at the moment, we're sort of fluctuating up and down, up and down, up and down. Relative GDP is fluctuating rather dramatically. However, we're only going to see growth when the global economy grows. We're only going to see growth in our GDP as soon as the global economy grows, but it's fine. Also, you'll note, by the way, that our debt has increased by 120 billion or so, however much I spent on nationalizing everything. And that's a fairly steep interest rate, to be honest. So I'm not exactly over the moon about that. I'm not exactly over the moon. Capitalists have never hated me more. To be honest, I can't blame them. The membership of the group, though, should be going down, and that should start to gather a little bit of strength. I am a little bit worried, though, that they're going to start to coalesce into something. The Federation of Entrepreneurs, though, has got nothing. It's got nothing. The Liberal League has got 1.3 million members, and liberals flippin' love me. What the heck is going on? Is it because the capitalists have so many, like, sympathetic ministers? I don't think sympathetic ministers actually impact... Yeah, I don't think they impact that. Oh, well, weird. Okay. So these two have been taken care of. Oh, no, sorry. The telecoms industry has been taken care of. The energy industry has been taken care of. The water industry, can we nationalize water as well? I mean, this is so dangerous. So dangerous. State water company, wildly popular. Wildly popular. 58% of the population flippin' love the idea. Only gonna cost me 10 billion. Thank goodness. Thank goodness it's only going to cost me 10 billion to nationalize. Right, again, let's fully fund that. Let's flip and go. Socialist membership increased, unemployment down, poverty down. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so state employees do absolutely love me. Trade unionists surprisingly don't love me. I feel like they should like me more than they actually do. Which sounds like a very entitled point of view, especially as a politician, but that's true. Okay, business startup campaign. I don't want to do this to the max. No. I was hoping that this just increased capitalist opinion. There's like one of them that increases capitalist opinion. This is going to increase self-employed opinion for 24 million. It's actually a pretty good deal. But there is one of these things. National Business Council. I think that's it. The National Business Council. No. Yeah, this one, actually. National Business Council, which gives us a little bit of an increase to capitalist opinion and a little bit of an increase to GDP, even if it's only 1%. And it doesn't decrease membership of the socialist bloc, which is very, very important because we need to be growing the socialist bloc as fast as we possibly can. This is not fast enough. This is not fast enough at all. Right, what decreases? What decreases socialist membership? The telecoms industry? Don't you worry about it. From next turn onwards, that is going to be totally fine. We now have a state telecoms industry. What else? What else destroys socialist membership? Unemployment benefit increases it, so maybe it's worth us seeing if we can increase unemployment benefit. Rail industry? We still have the rail industry to sort. The water industry, that's going to start to dissipate as well. Energy industry, that's going to start to dissipate. Private housing. I tell you what, we should bump up private housing. We should bump up the state housing to as much as it can possibly go so that we can decimate private housing. Yeah, I think we'll do that next turn, actually. I think next turn we'll see if we can try and focus on, like, pensions, state housing, state education, all of that sort of stuff. Okay, magically, street gangs has ended, which is excellent. Turns out that we are in a great place in terms of poverty. We're in a great place in terms of unemployment as well. We're in a great place in terms of crime. Now, the good news about getting rid of poverty and crime is that I believe crime for sure has a direct impact to GDP. Poverty does not. Poverty does not. But that is okay. Okay, happiness of the socialist group is very, very large. We've increased the percentage of the population by around about 4%, which is pretty darn good. I don't think that... I was a way to say, don't think that capitalists are going to despise me. However, it turns out that they absolutely do. They absolutely flippin' do. However, if I can keep growing GDP, then we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be totally fine. Okay, have they started to coalesce into a group yet? They haven't. What's going on? Why are capitalists not interested in destroying me? That's very, very peculiar. Very, very peculiar indeed. Okay. I think your name is Cody White. Yes, it is indeed. Capitalist and environmentalist. Yeah, you are giving me very, very little choice but to reshuffle my cabinet. My GDP is in a really, really bad place at this moment in time. To be honest, I could really do with just growing my GDP by a little bit. Can I see if I can introduce quantitative easing? Is that a thing that I could do? I'd love to introduce quantitative easing. Where is it? Is it in economy? I think it might be in... the economy. Okay, quantitative easing, 88% of the population is in favor of it. Now, capitalists flipping love quantitative easing, which is great. Really, really good. It's going to increase capitalist opinion by a lot. Wealthy opinion, a lot too. High earnings, a lot too. GDP also going to increase by a large amount. Diminishing returns the more that we increase it. I don't want to tweak inflation too much at the moment in time, although if we need to, you know, we will happily adjust. Oh, okay, this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be a disaster, mark my words. Right, let's see if we can bring that down a little bit. Yeah, bring inflation down to there. Sure. All right. Poverty may increase just by a smidgen, but I think that is just about worth enduring. Quantitative easing is definitely one of the ways that we can perhaps increase our GDP by a little bit. Alcohol abuse is almost over, which is great. Ghettos. Now that street gangs has been eliminated, I think it might give us an opportunity to see if we can try and get this, get rid of this rather quickly. So that's quite good. Organized crime is still a big old deal, unfortunately. Hospital overcrowding, that's not going away anytime soon. Doctor strike is only continuing to get worse. Obesity is in a fine place. The doctor strike can maybe be rectified by tweaking the labor laws or criticize the monarch. Sure. Maybe we can fix the hospital strike just by completely decimating the private healthcare and pumping loads of money into the state health service. Okay, GDP, big uptick. Crime, again, massive fall, which is excellent. Poverty continuing to drop and hover around very, very low levels. Unemployment continuing a downward trend. Not a huge jump on this turn, but that's fine. Okay, Cody White, you are only going to stick around if I implement the carbon capture and storage policy, which I know for a fact that I'm not going to do. Political relationship upgraded. Excellent. Okay, capitalist opinion up, business confidence up, and international trade up. Weirdly, business confidence doing surprisingly well. Yeah, inflation is probably about to torpedo business confidence. Probably. All right, demand from donor. Public libraries. Honestly, I'm down with public libraries. Let's do it. Sure, you know what? Let's do it. Fund it to the max. Absolutely. We're still running a technical surplus at this moment in time. I think the next big cash injection is going to come from getting rid of alcohol abuse. Unbelievably, our debt to GDP ratio is still pretty poor. We have paid off a little bit of our massive debt pile. Paid off a couple of billions, a few billions here and there, but nothing major. Uncompetitive economy is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Yeah, productivity is probably pretty low, given that I've mostly focused on socialist policies thus far. State water company's looking good though, looking very, very good. Anything else that we can introduce? Oh, state rail company. I can't not, right? But look at the potential costs. I tell you what, before we do this, before we do the state rail company, why don't we see if we can try and do a couple of policies that we know are socialist friendly. Workers on boards. I don't know if this is actually something that socialists like. Okay, no, tell a lie. Socialists flippin' love this. All right. Let's put the maximum number of workers on the board that we possibly can put. Capitalist opinion is going to be torpedoed. Socialist opinion increased. Trade unionist opinion increased. Trade unionist membership increased a lot. Working week decreased. Productivity decreased. Socialist membership increased. Okay. Capitalist membership. How has capitalist membership... I was waiting to say, how has it risen? It's not risen. It started off at 55%, and it's still decreasing, which is great. Okay, socialist membership is good. It's good. This is really, really good. Overwhelmingly supportive. I'm very, very glad that is the case. I hope that it continues that way. Federation of Entrepreneurs? Really? How did the Federation of Entrepreneurs not want to get rid of me? I suppose because GDP is in such a great place, I suppose that this is kind of a unique situation, right? Is because capitalists can't decide whether they love me or whether they hate me. Okay, this is not good. This is very, very bad. Very, 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 very bad. Our credit rating has been downgraded. Okay, so that is gonna do two things. That is gonna do two things. First of all, it's gonna put us into a deficit situation, which is very, very bad. Very, 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 very bad. It's also gonna mean that the existing debt that we have to pay is more expensive to finance, which is very, very bad. Right, why did that happen? Truthfully, I don't know. I don't know why that happened. I guess maybe we went slightly negative. Our expenditure just overtook our income. I mean, I appreciate that that happened. You know, we're in a situation where our GDP is fluctuating wildly. Again, none of this is really my fault, to be honest. The global economy, I sound like a politician. The global economy is going down. Like it's going down. You know, as soon as the global economy starts ticking upwards, we should be in a much better position. But at the moment, unfortunately, we're just not there. Okay, alcohol abuse. Oh man, we're so close to just getting across the line. We gotta adjust the alcohol tax just a little bit. We gotta adjust it upwards. Okay, 3 political capital. Cody White, yeah, you're meaningless. You're meaningless. You are not cool. You're not cool anymore. Right, this upsets me. This sales tax upsets me greatly. It's increasing poverty, and it's decreasing equality. I can pretty much wipe out the sales tax. However, if I was to do that, it wouldn't have any positive effect on GDP. An airline tax, I mean, look, I would love to increase the airline tax if I could, but the fact of the matter is that I'm not really sure that I want to have that knock-on effect to tourism. Corporation tax, don't really want to knock that up either, to be honest. Because if I start tweaking taxes too much, then we're going to be in trouble. Tobacco tax, I mean, that's always a good one to adjust. It's only going to increase poverty, but it is going to make everyone upset with me, which is not good. Property tax is a good idea. See if we can try and decrease the generational wealth gap. Might be an idea. Socialists will like me a little bit more. Capitalists will also dislike it. I mean, car tax, upsetting car drivers, is that really the end of the world? No, it's really not. I think I'm going to end up upsetting car drivers. Sure, the other one that I could always increase is fuel tax. Fuel tax actually has got a pretty negative effect on GDP. Not pretty negative, but negative enough that it's something of note. Inheritance tax, we could bump that right up, but even that's not gonna raise us a tremendous amount of money, even in the best case scenario. Membership of the Socialism group, though, that is excellent. Okay, let's hold that thought. Let's hold that thought until next turn. Let's bump up the car tax, the brand new car tax. Yep, excellent. Environmentalists do indeed like it. Car usage will decrease, which is gonna have its own effects, which is great. Alcohol tax, we've already bumped that to a sufficient level. Graduate tax, to be honest, we need to cancel this policy. We should probably cancel the policy, but the thing is that it's bringing in 4 billion at this moment in time, and I don't really want to mess with that too much. Right, tell you what we'll do. Let's see, what is impacting capitalists' happiness the most? GDP, quantitative easing, foreign investment. Okay, excellent. Cody White, they like the fact that we got Cody White. Maybe we'll keep him around for a while. Political relationship, okay. The good news is that I've not implemented a single policy that capitalists actually like, which is kind of cool. Intellectual property rights. I was wondering, is there perhaps a way that I can just, like, take this all the way down? I can take it down a little bit. I can take this down a little tiny bit. And that will decrease the amount of negative impact that it has on the socialist group. I'm just looking to see how I can save money. I tell you what, one of the good ways that I should be looking at is my expenditure. Military spending, right? Military spending, decreasing military spending to basically nothing, honestly, is probably something that I want to do. It is going to increase unemployment drastically, but It costs me a lot of money at this moment in time, and I could very, very much do with cutting that out entirely. Child benefit, disability benefit, state water company, state telecoms company, science funding. Is science funding important? I mean, I know that it's important, but is it that important? Even if it was important, which I don't think is, truthfully, as a socialist, it's increasing GDP, so it's something that I do care about there. Road building, I mean, road building just can get completely destroyed here. Yeah. Okay, so road building, and military expenditure can both be decreased to almost nothing. Right. Unemployment started to go up a little bit. Is that because GDP is going down? It may very well be connected. The fact that GDP is going down almost certainly means that capitalists are going to like me even less than they did. True patriots? Patriots are getting irritated at me. Really? Are there many patriots? Not really. Not really at all. But their happiness isn't even that. It's not even that. They're not even that unhappy with me, for goodness sake. Right, well, that's fine. That's fine. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cut military spending as much as I possibly can. Oh, but then again, that's going to upset patriots, isn't it? But then again, it is saving me. It is saving me many billions. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's a risky maneuver, but it's fine. Capital gains tax. Ooh. We should bump that up. We should bump that all the way up. That's right. Equality all the way up. That's good. It's going to decrease GDP, but that's fine. Also, going to increase my revenue by a good amount. I didn't spot this earlier, but I'm glad that I did. That's very, very good. What was the other policy that I was going to change? I, for the life of me, cannot remember. Was it inheritance tax? I think it might have been inheritance tax, because that really, really, really modifies. That really, really, really modifies the amount that socialists gain in membership per turn, which is quite good. Right, what are we at? We're at 58%. That's good. That's good. There's a definitive upward trend. The rail industry. What about nationalizing the rail industry? I don't think that we can do it this turn. And it also costs like a gargantuan amount of political capital. Appoint UN ambassador, a patriot. I need to appease the patriots. Okay, that's irritating actually. That's very, very irritating. The socialists do end up getting a little bit upset about that appointment, but that's fine. Alcohol abuse is definitely going to end next turn, so that's going to put us into a really, really, really great place on this turn. Excellent. A royal baby, fine, doesn't really impact my my playstyle altogether too much. The fact that alcohol abuse has ended is a massive weight off my chest. Look at that. Okay, crime decreases, which again has a not negative effect on GDP. You might even say a positive effect on GDP if in fact you're able to string a couple of words together. Health is now increased because that negative modifier has ended. GDP, as I've already talked about, increased as well. Brilliant. Good stuff. Tax evasion is about to start happening. It looks like we're just about to the line there. So that's good. That's fine. Okay, we're basically getting as much as we possibly can out of everyone, which is kind of terrifying, because if we go any higher, we're gonna have a massive decrease in our tax revenues, and that's gonna be dreadful. Okay, we're now running a surplus, which is great. We're almost to the £2 trillion debt mark, which is frankly incredible, to be honest. Frankly incredible. Membership 61% and counting. Right, inheritance tax is gonna get boosted tremendously. Again, don't really care about the money here, but I do care about the socialist membership modifier. That's really, really good. It's gonna increase equality as well, which is pretty good. And interestingly, it doesn't affect capitalists. Capitalists don't care about inheritance tax, which is very unique. How's equality doing? Equality is actually increasing fairly steadily, to be honest. I've already talked about sales tax and how abysmal that actually is. But hey-ho. Ooh, the other thing that I was going to do was definitely the state railway. Yeah, let's get the state railway. Let's nationalize the railway. State railway company. It's going to cost me 15 billion per turn. I don't want it to cost me 15 billion per turn. Oh, no. Okay, before we do that, maybe we should try and raise 15 billion extra per turn. Or at least cut back. At least cut back on something. I mean, this debt interest, if this debt interest would just go away, then that would allow me to get all of my projects off the ground. That would be great. The graduate tax doesn't even raise that much. Doesn't even raise that much extra money. Should we see if we can try and introduce a new tax? The problem is that I don't want to increase tax evasion. That's the problem. Junk food tax raises hardly any money. Luxury goods tax, that will feed into tax evasion almost certainly. Plastic bag tax, almost entirely pointless. Punitive tax on superstores. Let's go for punitive tax on superstores, actually. Right. And let's fund that to the absolute max. Yeah, that's very important. Okay, so GDP is going to take a little bit of a hit. Capitalist opinion, of course, is gonna decrease. But socialist opinion is going to increase, which is kind of nice. Again, importantly, we're raising more money. And we're raising it through not taxing the rich people. Because if we tax the rich people anymore, then we're in trouble. I tell you what we could do. We could adjust drug policy. Narcotic policy. Where is it? It's around somewhere. This one, I think. Narcotics. Yeah. How much would it cost to change it to the max? Legalize all drugs? I mean, the thing about doing this is that it upsets a lot of people. It upsets a lot of people, and it upsets a lot of people, and it makes a lot of people happy. Legal drug consumption would go through the roof. And if that happens, then we're going to be able to generate some tax revenue, which would be really, really nice. Don't think that it's really something that I'm altogether interested in at this moment in time, though. Diverted profits, enterprise investment scheme. No. Automation tax. I think I'm going to introduce an automation tax. Let's fund it to the absolute max. Trade unionists flipping love it. Industrial automation is going to decrease. Now, industrial automation does feed into productivity. And it also feeds into unemployment. So we could actually see unemployment decrease if we're able to reduce industrial automation. Will any of that feed into the tax evasion event, which is on the horizon? I don't think so. Again. We're only targeting super rich people with all of our, income tax and all of the taxes that are displayed here. Capital gains, corporation, and income tax. It's only on rich people. If we tax other things, then they're not gonna see it coming. It's gonna be fine. Mark my words. Okay, Cody White, you're displeased. You're displeased with current government policy. I mean, look, I know you're as low as you can really go. I don't really want to introduce carbon capture and storage because I want to nationalize the railways. I'm really sorry, it has to be done. Unemployment has risen a lot. GDP presumably held roughly steady. That's fine. Crime is basically as low as it can go. Poverty is pretty low too, actually. Corporate exodus. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, that's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, okay. Turns out that the automation tax, introducing the automation tax, definitely, there was definitely a cost to that. However, capitalist membership is now below 40%, which is really, really nice. Very, very good. Socialist membership is now above 60%. We've capped out the max happiness for the last couple of turns now. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good indeed. Okay. The fact that the rail industry hasn't been nationalized is still terrible. Private housing. We should sort out private housing. We can totally sort out private housing. We can do it this turn. And that'll stop a whole bunch of stuff, actually. Yeah, okay, do that. It's going to cost a little bit more. Let's not worry about the rail industry for this turn. Let's just pretend like the rail industry is already privatized. And then let's have a little look at the other super strong things which decrease membership. See if we can try and uncap them. Pensions as well. Let's fully fund pensions. Right. Generational wealth gap actually increases. How does that work? The generational wealth gap. I mean, that has a negative effect on equality. However, equality is in a really, really good place, funnily enough. Cool. I don't understand how a higher level of state pension increases the membership of the retired group. Yeah, I don't understand how that works. Also, I could fund this to the max, but it would cost me far too much money. Is there anything that the socialists would like that I can actually afford? Healthcare is even more expensive. Equality is increasing. Equality is increasing a lot. Ghettos, how are ghettos doing? Ghettos are going to end next turn. That's incredible. Wow. Okay, I didn't really think that would occur this quickly, but I'm delighted that it has, to be honest. Increasing membership, decreasing membership. Private schools. How much would it cost to max out school spending? Honestly, not that much at all. Honestly, not that much at all. I mean, that will completely decimate. That will completely decimate private schools. Student laptops. Yeah, decreases unemployment, decreases poverty as well. Increases education, which is good because education feeds into GDP, if you'll recall, right? What's the threat assessment saying? The True Patriots, again. And the Federation of Entrepreneurs, is there something that's being calculated incorrectly here? Because capitalists flipping hate me. Fanatically opposed. Fanatically opposed. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. Is it because, like, almost everyone else is in a pretty decent state? Like, let me have a little look at some of the exemplar capitalists here. So we have a little look at voter types, and then we go to capitalists right down. No, not that one. We go to focus groups. We go to focus groups. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. Yeah, I'm looking for this. Okay, so original income, disposable income. Wow. Okay, the amount of money that I'm taxing people is insane. It's weird. It's weird. Like, I don't know why capitalists still love me. See, the thing is that each and every voter has, you know, multiple different pools. And I just don't get why some capitalists absolutely they don't seem to be doing anything about it, which is great. Oil drilling opportunity, allow the oil drilling. Maybe we can try and appease the capitalists. What the heck? We'll give it a shot, eh? Oh boy, 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 oh boy. Okay, let's see what we can unpack from this situation. GDP, massive decrease. Health is slowly but surely increasing. If we can end that doctor strike, then that would be excellent. Unemployment has shot right up. Crime, pretty low. Poverty, pretty low. Education, presumably grown just a little bit. Yeah, excellent. Okay, corporate exodus. Holy cow. Holy cow. Now, that is almost entirely because I introduced this automation tax. However, in order to stop the corporate exodus, we're actually going to have to appease corporations a heck of a lot, and I don't really want to do that. Okay, but that, you know, that hit to GDP is a big old pain in the backside. Now, I've got an idea about how we handle this. Freedom of information, I will deal with that in just a second. What's the budget report saying? The budget report is saying that there's a surplus of 24 billion. Next turn, however, I guarantee you that that's not going to be the case. That massive decrease in GDP is going to really hurt. Really hurt our economy. So, I'm going to enjoy this 24 billion surplus for this turn, but it's only going to be this turn that it occurs on. So, there you go. Right, inflation. What's inflation doing? Inflation, look, we've maxed out inflation and there's not a negative modifier for inflation? Really? I mean, that is very surprising to me. It's almost not worth increasing quantitative easing then. Because I was a way to say, like, we can definitely do something about that. Like, we can see if we can boost GDP by a little bit through some of this helicopter money nonsense. But apparently it doesn't matter. Apparently it doesn't matter. Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to learn to live with it, unfortunately. We're just gonna have to learn to live with it. Is there anything that we can cut expenditure-wise? Again, like this debt interest. If only we could level up. If only we could level up our debt level, our interest rate. That would be so good. Just one level. Just one credit rating. Please, video game. That would be oh so lovely. But our debt to GDP ratio, by the way, is going to skyrocket. It's 115% at this moment in time. It's gonna explode. It is going to absolutely explode next turn. Just mark my words. Okay, let's see if we can get ahead of the curve there and see if we can cut our spending a little bit. Maybe we can cut back on something. Military spending. I mean, we already cut back on military spending a lot. Let's see if we can cut back again. Save another 5 billion or something. Yeah, that's pretty good. Honestly, this cabinet has been good. We got 2 capitalist sympathetic ministers who I'm still holding on to because capitalists like them, I think. And so that's good. But yeah, the cabinet's done me not too poorly. We get 17 political capital per turn. Honestly, it's not great, but I can live with it. Road building as well. I think we're going to cut back on road building. Unfortunately, I can't cut back on it more. Right. Sure. 6 political capital. Let's do it. All right. That's fine. We still have an uncompetitive economy. However, the uncompetitive economy is decreasing for some reason. I don't know why. Why is productivity picking up? Probably because education is doing so well, and also health is getting better. Slowly but surely. Oh boy. Oh boy. We need to fix these labor laws, by the way. Even if we do end up increasing the corporate exodus and the doctor's strike. Wait, pro-employer? If we make it pro-employer, we'll stop the doctor's strike. But surely if we pay the doctors more, then that will end the strike? Surely the worst place for it to be is balanced, because then the employers can't force the doctors to go back to work, and the unions can't demand a higher wage for the doctors, if that makes sense. That doesn't make any sense to me. Either way, we want to try and raise that as much as possible, but that takes 32 political capital, and that's a massive pain in the backside. Okay, freedom of information. Do I need to appease? I think it's patriots or liberals, really. Patriots are the ones that I really want to appease. Membership of the group still very, very low. Still very, very low. Continuing to decrease because of the racial tension and foreign relations modifiers there. But that's fine. Liberals love me. So yeah, we can appease the it's not even patriots, it's state employees. Honestly, that's fine too, because we got a lot of state employees, and yeah, fluctuating up and down, but mostly okay. Mostly an okay number. Right, so socialists. Look at that. It's great. Love to see it. Private housing. We have completely torpedoed private housing. It's not even going to exist anymore. Not even going to exist anymore after I'm done with it. It's going to take a little while for this to take effect, but when it does, boy oh boy, it's going to be glorious. Right. Place your bets in the comment section down below right now before we go. What do you think our surplus is going to be? What do you think our surplus is going to be next turn? Do you think it'll even be a surplus? Let me know in the comments right now before I click the next turn button. Boom. Okay. GDP increased a little bit. Nice. Health increased a little bit. Nice. Education, roughly even. Unemployment, roughly even. Crime, almost bottomed out. Poverty, decreasing a little bit. Female leader, liberals love it. Excellent. Tax evasion is very close to developing. Don't really want to see that happening, but that's fine. We can probably deal with that at some point. Economic forecast. Ooh, boy. Okay, here's the good news. The good news is that we're still technically running a surplus. Honestly, I'm surprised that that's the case. Our debt to GDP ratio has only got worse, though. It is terrible. 142%. Our interest rate, 9.75%. 9.75%. Imagine if we didn't have this debt interest to repay. Imagine what we could do with 46 extra billion pounds. Imagine. Just imagine. Anyway, the socialist membership is way up from the start of the episode, up from about 45% up to about 65%. May not sound like a massive increase, but you know, at that trajectory, we should reach 100% very, very soon. However, we're going to have to explore socialist utopia in the next episode, because that is it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you ever so much for watching this episode of Democracy 4. My name, of course, has been Oba the Potato. Thanks, as ever, to all the fantastic Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/Oba the Potato. Also, thanks to Banana Nana and C Senpai for being the two $25 plus tier patrons. Thank you very much for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye.